Aesop's Fable EP38, The Impulsive Dog and the Lesson of Thoughtfulness. Scene 1, The Excitable Dog. In a lively village at the edge of a sprawling forest, there lived a young and energetic dog named Max. Max was full of enthusiasm and curiosity, always eager to explore and try new things. However, Max had a habit of acting before thinking, which often got him into trouble. Max had a wise friend named Bella, a calm and thoughtful cat who often advised him to think carefully before taking action. Max, Bella would say, it's important to consider the consequences before you jump into something. Not everything is as simple as it seems. But Max, with his boundless energy, would usually brush off Bella's advice. Don't worry so much, Bella. Life's too short to think everything through. It's more fun to dive right in, he would reply with a wag of his tail. One day, while Max and Bella were walking near the village, they heard about a new pond that had just formed in the forest after a heavy rain. The other animals were talking about how beautiful it was and how refreshing it would be to swim in the cool water. Max's ears perked up with excitement. Let's go check it out, Bella. I can't wait to dive into that pond. Bella, however, had heard from an old owl that the pond might be deeper than it appeared. Max, I think we should be careful, Bella cautioned. We don't know how deep the water is, and it's best to approach it slowly. But Max, eager to jump into the adventure, ignored Bella's advice. I'll be fine. I'm a great swimmer, and I can handle anything, he barked as he raced off toward the forest. Scene 2, The Unheeded Warning. Max sprinted through the forest, his excitement growing with each step. He could already imagine the cool water splashing around him as he swam in the new pond. Bella, though concerned, followed behind at her own pace, hoping that Max would slow down and think before he acted. When Max arrived at the pond, he was delighted by what he saw. The water was crystal clear, reflecting the surrounding trees like a mirror. Without a second thought, Max ran to the edge of the pond and leaped in with all his might. As he plunged into the water, Max quickly realized that the pond was much deeper than he had expected. The bottom was nowhere in sight, and the water was colder than he had imagined. Max tried to swim to the surface, but his initial excitement had left him tired, and the deep water made it difficult for him to find his footing. Panicked, Max began to struggle, realizing too late that he had acted impulsively without considering the risks. Bella, who had just arrived at the edge of the pond, saw Max struggling and immediately knew that he was in trouble. Max! Hold on, I'm coming to help. Bella called out as she quickly assessed the situation. Using a long branch she found nearby, Bella reached out to Max, who was desperately trying to keep his head above water. Max grabbed onto the branch, and with Bella's help, he managed. Scene 3, The Realization. As Max lay catching his breath, he began to realize the gravity of what had just happened. If it hadn't been for Bella's quick thinking, he might have been in serious danger. The thrill of the adventure had clouded his judgment, and he had made a mistake by not listening to his friend's advice. Bella, Max said softly, his voice filled with regret, I should have listened to you. I was so excited that I didn't stop to think about what could go wrong. I put myself in danger because I didn't consider the consequences. Bella nodded, her eyes gentle as she spoke. Max, I know you love adventure, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's important to think before you act, especially when you're not sure what you're getting into. Sometimes, taking a moment to consider the risks can save you from making a big mistake. Max looked down, feeling ashamed of his impulsiveness. I'm sorry, Bella. I promise I'll try to be more thoughtful in the future. I don't want to make a mistake like this again. Bella smiled and gave Max a comforting nudge. It's okay, Max. The important thing is that you've learned from this experience. And remember, I'll always be here to help you think things through. Scene 4, The Lesson Learned. After resting for a while, Max and Bella made their way back to the village. Max was quiet, reflecting on what had happened and how close he had come to getting hurt because of his impulsive behavior. He knew that Bella was right. Thinking before acting was crucial, especially when facing the unknown. Over the next few days, Max practiced being more thoughtful and careful in his actions. He started to ask questions and consider possible outcomes before diving into new situations. Although it wasn't easy for him to change his ways, Max was determined to learn from his mistake. One afternoon, Max and Bella were out for a walk when they came across a steep hill that looked perfect for rolling down. Max felt the familiar excitement bubbling up inside him, but this time, he paused and turned to Bella. What do you think, Bella? Should we check the hill for any obstacles before we roll down? Max asked, a hint of caution in his voice. Bella smiled, proud of Max's progress. That's a great idea, Max. Let's make sure it's safe first. After carefully inspecting the hill, they found a few rocks that could have caused them to trip and fall. They cleared the path, and then, with a shared laugh, they rolled down the hill together, safely enjoying the adventure. From that day on, Max became known not just for his enthusiasm, but also for his growing wisdom. He had learned that taking a moment to think before acting could prevent mistakes and lead to better decisions. The animals in the village noticed the change in Max and respected him even more for his thoughtful approach to life. Moral of the story: thinking before you act is important to avoid unnecessary mistakes and dangers. Taking a moment to consider the consequence.